Welcome to Measurably Better Learning, the podcast built for learning and development professionals. Whether you're an instructional designer, L&D professional, or corporate leader, get ready for insights and ideas that will transform your approach to learning, training, and development. So let's dive in.
Welcome to this episode of the Measurably Better Learning podcast, and I'm here with Dr. Jerry Zandstra today. And Jerry, we're talking about personalized learning today, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts. I know that we've been a part of a lot of learning initiatives over the years. We've kind of seen things come and go depending on trends, depending on the world, depending on technology. But I think one thing we've noticed, especially given technology, that AI, that sort of thing now, is that one size doesn't fit all anymore. And then there's an increasing, it's had its moments in time, but this personalized learning is made more, I think there's more of a drive for it now than there has been in the past. So first of all, can you tell me what it means so we can sort of level set for our listeners?
Yeah. As I thought about this growing up, my neighbor was named Ralph Skog, and I have no idea what Mr. Skog did for a living, but it was something technical.
Okay.
But he was a ham radio guy. So he was talking to people in Russia and China, doing all this cool stuff, and I was a little kid.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And so I'd watch him. I still remember his call number, Whiskey 9 Oscar Charlie Hotel, for whatever reason.
Okay.
Right. And I told him I was clearly interested in this, and he gave me I said, well, how do I learn more? And he gave me like a 500-page manual.
Oh, right.
Of all I didn't understand 30% of the words in it. Right. Sitting next to Mr. Scope, I was able to learn. And I learned, how he did this and how it worked and how you moved the antenna and all this kind of stuff. That was a highly personalized learning. The manual, I don't think I made it through 10 pages. Right. I had no idea what it was saying. Right. The personalized learning is where I'm at, what I need, with a clear goal. And we talked about this in some other podcasts, but I have a clear goal in front of me. I wanted to learn this particular thing. I was motivated to do it. And then I was limited by my capacity at 10 years old or 12 years old. Right. So, but I think truly part of it is technology that we can personalize learning. Fantastic opportunities to do that. But I'm going to learn something. There are certain things I can learn on my own, but boy, if it's really technical, or if it's an interpersonal skill, interactive, watching somebody else do it is just fantastic.
Yeah, personalized learning was, so I would say maybe I was halfway through my fairly short, I spent like 10 years in a high school classroom. But
That's
personalized
9.5 years too long.
I loved it. It was great. But personalized learning was big then because learning styles at that time was having a moment. But it felt incredibly like a huge burden on the teacher. It was my job to somehow customize learning for 31 kids sitting in front of me. So this is different. And what can you just, give us a little bit of the landscape? What is driving, this demand now for personalized learning? Because it is different. It's not put on one person to figure this out anymore.
No, and the person has to have input, but I think the expectation, again, generationally, is that you're going to have input. It's not a cookie cutter menu. It's not just handed over to you, that you're going to. So that idea that you can personalize learning is an expectation now.
It really is.
Whereas I don't think it, and it might have been before, but it wasn't possible. Most education was, and again, your background as a teacher, you've got 20% of the people in the room are bored, 20% have no idea what you're talking about. You're really teaching to the middle 60.
Yeah.
And maybe it's 30, 40 in the middle, right?
I hate to speculate.
Yeah. But it personalized means, part of the attractiveness of it, I can go slow when I need to go slow, and I can go faster when I need to go fast. And it's doable. It didn't used to be doable.
Right.
And I think there are times in some of the clients that we work with where we still act like this isn't possible.
That's a great point.
You know, we're still operating like it's 20 years ago. We're still operating the classroom in Oskaloosa, Iowa, with 30 kids from 1st to 8th grade, right? And they go through a machine.
Right.
And that sort of mechanized training, mechanized learning is and people did that not because they were bad people.
Right. That's what we knew.
Right.
Right.
Well, it's what you knew.
And it's all we could do.
It's all really you could do. That's not true anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think about, and this is several years ago even, but my children, as they would take their SAT, you get your scores back, and for whatever reason, in the state's wisdom, the SAT was the day after spring break. I'm just try to get your child to study for the SAT over, and that's never happening, never. So our philosophy was take it, see what you get, or go from there. Yeah. But what you could do then, and this was several years ago even, is you could link your account to Khan Academy, which would then provide graduate based on your exact score in the areas that you struggled in, customized training specifically for what you needed. And you take those over and over, and it would adapt every time to give you harder things. And the scores went up significantly. Probably due to the fact that they were so low to start with in my house. But it's personalized, and kids, that's kids coming out of high school. Yeah. They expect that now. Yeah. So
and it's teaching to the gaps.
Agreed. That's exactly right.
Because there can be two things that are happening. You're just telling me something I already know, which we talk about learning culture all the time. Kills learning culture, especially if you're taking a 15-year veteran of somebody knows what they're doing. And you're teaching them elementary stuff, and they have to go through it. It just destroys the learning culture. Or on the other end, something that might interest that person is going to bury another person, and I have no idea now what you're talking about. So I'm just hitting next or
I'm
listening to whatever because you said I'm supposed to do it, but I'm not retaining anything. I'm not internalizing. I'm not reflecting on anything. None of my behavior is going to change because I don't know what you're talking about. So that, that self-paced feeding me what I need when I need it, no matter what level I'm at, that's fascinating. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, how much can you learn by, reading Aristotle? Well, a lot. Mm-hmm. How much could you have learned if you could spend 5 years with Aristotle and eat dinner with him every night, right?
Sure.
Those are two different things.
Very different.
Yeah.
Right.
And that sort of, the ability to interact. And I think sometimes the personalized stuff isn't just it's not just how the content is delivered. It's personalized in the sense that I can interact with another human being.
Yes.
The best ideas are things that come from having conversations with people like you and others, and I leave them going, okay, that's cool. I wouldn't have come up with that on my own,
right?
And that's very much worth it.
No, you bring up an excellent point. I think when we think of personalized learning, the industry immediately jumps to like, oh, we have AI and we can do these customized, and excuse me. And while that's true, there's that element of personalized learning, which should be personal. And I think more and more organizations are going back to some of that, which is there's coaching, there's mentoring, there's small groups, even like your lunch and learns. But anytime you put a group, and we know this is the basic adult learning, you put a group of adults together and let them share. Yeah. You're going to walk out of that situation learning more, being wiser, having some examples they hadn't thought of before, and that's personalized.
Yeah, and even if you're in the room with people who are a lot more experienced or smarter than you, I know my freshman year of college, I don't know what guidance counselor decided this was a good idea, but I got stuck in a 300 level philosophy class, and it was like 6 philosophy majors, and me, man, wearing my Chicago Bears sweatshirt, right? What do I know? I knew very little going in. I knew an awful lot coming out. Yeah. Because I listened to them, and it was fascinating and well worth it. And I wouldn't have gotten to that point any other way. So
absolutely. Well, obviously, it's important for us to understand personalized learning in its context. But when we come back, let's talk about the value. And I mean, maybe that's kind of inherent, but it's an important learning strategy that I think we need to talk through.
Okay.
Imagine a world where every training session, every learning module, and every translated document is aligned with your company's unique goals and global ambitions. Welcome to Ingenuity, where we don't just talk about elevating your corporate learning, we make it happen. At Ingenuity, we understand the heart of your business is its people. That's why we specialize in creating custom learning solutions and translation services that are not just effective, but are designed specifically for your business's global needs. Let us show you how learning cannot be just better, but measurably better, with solutions tailored just for you. Learn more in the description below.
Well, welcome back. As we alluded to, let's think now, Jerry, about the value of personalized learning. I think as we were discussing, some of that came out, but it's important to call it out because, as you said, I think sometimes it still feels sort of overwhelming, or maybe I don't have access to the tech to do it, so I'm just going to dismiss it. But there's value in it, and it can be done in a variety of ways.
Yeah.
So
And I would say everybody has access to the tech.
I agree. Yeah.
At least 95% of people have access to the tech. And the tech makes it possible, but that doesn't mean you're going to do it.
Right.
The part of the reason why you should, right? Because that's really what we want to talk
Yeah,
about.
the value, yeah.
Is the benefit to the organization, the benefit to the learner. And that's ultimately what drives most people in L&D, I think. The benefit to the organization, the benefit to the learner is if you can motivate me to choose to learn.
Yeah.
I'm renting to you space in my head, and that's fantastic. And I think part of what motivates people to learn is their own input.
Yeah.
You know,
Choice. Absolutely.
their own, and it feels like it's for me. We've heard this before. Sometimes it's in translation or localization, but this wasn't really created for me.
Yeah.
And back to the person with 15
also
years
be myself.
experience, you didn't make this for me. But back to the I have no idea what you're talking about. You didn't make this for me. The idea that when I have buy-in, when I have input, when it's personalized to me, okay. Chances are I'm going to sit up and pay attention. I'm going to be motivated, and I'm going to be engaged with it. I will. I think most people want to be involved in having a say and in deciding what they're going to learn and why it matters to them. I think it helps with retention.
Yeah. That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
I assume when you're motivated and, just you have a stake in it, that you're going to retain more as well.
Yeah. You talked about you and Bob watching movies with your cell phone, in other instances, and me reading books with looking at my cell phone and looking things up. I retain an enormous amount of that information. Nobody's asking me to do that, right? The book isn't saying, okay, now go to Wikipedia or go into, Gemini.
Right.
It's I'm interested. And wow, when I'm interested, I retain. If I'm not interested, the retention is not there. And the same principle applies across the board in corporate learning, training, and development for sure.
Yeah. Well, and so if we have improved motivation, engagement and retention, then what we're driving really is we're improving the organization. We're getting our ROI. We're getting more efficient. We're getting all those things.
We are. Better informed companies perform better than poorly informed companies. There's a direct correlation between companies that provide excellent training for their people and their financial results. You very rarely find a company that has really terrible learning and really great learners. Those things don't go hand in. I mean, not always the case. Sometimes in startups, but in a mature large company, those companies are investing in learning because they know they've done this math, and they know that a solid learning culture. Some of the organizations that create training centers, and you look at that and go, well, you could have just not built that and given, 3 more pennies to shareholders. In time, that investment pays for itself because you have engaged learners, and personalizing their learning is really a key component to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's an internal university or because I think it speaks to like we, the company, the organization values the learner, and we value you enough to provide this for you.
Yeah.
At whatever level it's specifically personalized, regardless, it says a lot to them. And when I believe that I have value and my organization values me, I'm naturally inclined to
Yeah.
participate, to be involved in all
And
of that.
Apple's got some of that going on. Microsoft, McDonald's, it's called McDonald's University,
I think so. Yeah.
right? And they know, I mean, they're taking in 16-year-old kids,
Yep.
and they know the vast majority of them are going to go work somewhere else, and they're committed to the idea of training those people so that when they go out into the workforce, they're actually well equipped to be successful. It's a cool model. It's ethically good.
Yes. Right.
It is for L&D. It is on a really solid platform. And you're training people for success in their lives. As long as you do that, if you help people train to be successful in their lives, they're going to do good things in your company the vast majority of the time.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think that's a great spot to land on too. So we can talk about value in dollars and cents, but at the end of the day, like you said, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And valuing the learner
Yes.
will result in other kinds of value.
Absolutely.
But as anybody in business knows, profit is a byproduct. And treating your people well, doing the right things, those things, not always, sometimes things go sideways, but those things tend to result in other good things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your input and your insight. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
Before we wrap up the show, if you're looking to dive deeper, we've got tons of free downloads, L&D resources, and details about upcoming webinars that you won't want to miss. They're found in the episode description. Plus, if you ever want to chat with either one of us, now's your chance. You can find links in the episode description to connect directly with Miriam or me. We're here to answer your questions and to discuss all things learning and development. And speaking of questions, we love hearing from you. Whether it's a question or a comment or a topic you're curious about, or if you just want to join the conversation, drop us a comment on your favorite social media channel. Your input shapes our shows. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. It's the best way to ensure you never miss out on our latest episode. We're excited to continue to transform learning into a measurable success with you. Until next time.